Hey ladies, welcome back to my channel. So this 70-year-old Hollywood icon has said no to Botox and fillers, and we're going to talk about it. You ready? Let's get this beauty started. Before I get into the video, I just want to say thank you for being a part of my audience. I have hit over 600,000 subscribers. It's truly incredible. I have been at this for 13 years. This is not an overnight YouTube sensation, and I'm very proud of that. It is a lot of hard work. It is not easy always showing up every single week, twice a week, and I've dedicated myself to my YouTube channel, and I love it. And so I hope that every episode that you watch enhances your life, gives you inspiration, teaches you something new, whether it's style, whether it's beauty. This is really why I do this, because I'm passionate about it. And that's the only reason that would keep me going, is that I live and breathe makeup, and I feel that makeup really dictates style. And so I've really put a lot of effort into my styling videos this year, really dabbling a little bit last year and then this year, because it's so important. Lipstick can make or break an outfit. If I'm going to someone's house and doing their makeup for a red carpet event or what have you, styling and makeup is like it marries together. Like it's the whole package, the whole look. That's why I felt that it was very important, especially for mature women, to really incorporate that into my channel this year, because I love style, as you know. I mean, it's been my whole background. So I'm just really, really excited. Over 500 videos that I have put out in my career. And I thank you for being here and watching, because you are the reason why I do this. For all the comments, the community, the dialogue that we have together. I really, really enjoy it. And I'm so happy that we're continuing to grow. So this is a very interesting topic about Isabella Rossellini. Now I follow her over on Instagram. I think she's adorable. She's so interesting to me. I had the wonderful experience of meeting her back in 1997. I went to a very intimate private book signing with her, and it was in Coral Gables, and my mother went with me, and she wrote a book, I think it was called Pieces of Me, and she was everything that you would think she was. She's very soft-spoken, she's very elegant, and it was really a wonderful experience. And I read an article back in 2018 about the whole Lancome situation, and I was like, what? Like, this happened? I couldn't believe it. So let me give you a little background if you don't know who Isabella Rossellini is. She is the daughter of Ingrid Bergman. She's a famous actress, and her father is, or was, a producer, and Roberto Rossellini. She grew up in Rome and Paris, and she has a really interesting life. She has a twin sister, and she never wanted to be an actress or go right into what her parents did. Her parents are triple Oscar winners. They were like the golden couple of the 50s. And she just had this really, just like a really cool kind of just growing up and being in that whole world of Hollywood. So she went into costume design, photography, like all these different things. And she then was discovered by Bruce Weber. He's a famous photographer, and she was put on the cover of Vogue, I think it was British Vogue, in her late 20s. And then she signed a contract with Lancome in 1982. She was in her 30s. She had a beautiful career with Lancome for a decade, until right when she was I think it was right before she was 44, or her 44th birthday, they fired her. And they fired her because she was too old. I mean, that's what it said. So it's very interesting. It says, then shortly before her 43rd birthday in 1995, she was fired. I have to read you some of it. It's crazy. It's totally outrageous to me. So it says, in 1982, Isabella Rossellini signed an exclusive deal with Lancome that made her the world's highest paid model. And now, you know, multi-million-dollar contracts are like, it's like every day, right? It's like, oh, no big deal, whatever, with all of these different, whether it's an actress or a model, what have you. But back in 1982, this was a very big deal. She was the highest paid model in the entire world. So it says, for over a decade, she promoted the brand's fragrances, lipsticks, and skincare in ads seen around the world. So then it says that she was told that they explained to me, the advertisement addresses the dream, and women dream to be young, not to grow old. So she was telling Page Six this. She says, which might be a dream for some women, but I think the biggest dream for women is to grow old with beauty and dignity and elegance. So that was her perspective on it. So they basically told her, you know what, you're too old. We're going to hire someone younger. And I was really surprised that she wasn't super bitter about it and suing them and being like very angry and what have you, because she went on. So her children now, you know, she's an empty nester. She figured out, this is such a great quote she has. She says, "Some chapters close not because you want them to. Of course, I was sad, and I was for a while, but I was resilient in thinking, what else is interesting to me? I follow my curiosity. That's what helped me to have an interesting life." So now it's 20 years later, and in all this time, she has built a new life for herself. She said, and in the interim, she had bought and moved to an organic farm on Long Island, a couple of hours drive east of New York, gained a master's degree in animal behavior, and started to make funny films just for fun about such things as the sex lives of insects for Robert Redford's Sundance Channel. She walked guide puppies and kept bees and tended to her chickens. So then Lancome decides to call her 20 years later. So now she's 63. So it says, so she was intrigued by it, right? I personally think I'd be like, oh, so now you want me in my 60s? Like, what's going on? So she said, I was just so surprised. You let me go at 43 and now I'm 63. I haven't got any younger, but I agreed to meet because I was very curious. So she's going to go to this meeting now with the company that fired her because she was too old. She's going in, I think, with an open mind, which I was very surprised about. And I was also like, that's very classy, right? She's open-minded. She's not bitter. She's not angry. She said she arrived early at the meeting. She saw a motorcycle draw up. A fantastic looking woman got off, took off her helmet, and this blonde hair fell out. Then she walked up to me, shook my hand and said, "Hi, I'm Francois." And just like that, I knew things had changed. Before, I used to deal with 6-year-old men who were paternalistic and condescending. So she was fired by most probably a board of just men or executives at Lancome. Like, people want to see young women. They want to see just youth and beauty. Then 20 years later, in her 60s, they have a change of hands at Lancome. Now it's a woman. The woman wants her back, and she's rehired by Lancome. So I think it's a really quite dramatic story that she was open to it also. I just think that being fired because you're not young and then being able to create a life that you really love, doing these really interesting, getting a master's degree and just something very interesting with animals. She's an animal activist now. She's just living this life of just being very raw and real and just embracing herself. And we're going to get into the Botox and fillers in a minute. But I was just really impressed. And I was really impressed that Lancome, had a woman that was in charge and really saw that this is what women want to see. They want to see real women that are in the ad campaigns that they can relate to and respond to and look up to. I mean, that's what I've always been teaching on my channel. Find women that you really find inspirational that are older than you. Even if you're 70s or 80s, find someone that they, really, when we had, Carmen Delafiche, she's 91. I mean, there's a lot of women that are in all these different age categories that we can look at and be like, wow, you know what? She looks really beautiful. She's really doing this. I love how she's doing that. And just have these really great inspirational visuals for yourself, whether it's Pinterest boards, whether it's a real vision board, and just keeps you on that track of trying to be your best self. And what does that mean to you? So when it comes to Botox and fillers, it was another interesting topic. So it says no Botox. So I didn't do it because, frankly, I'm afraid of it. She said she was born with a spinal deformity, which is scoliosis. She's had 2 surgeries, one at 13 and then one in her 60s. And she said she couldn't walk for 6 months. She had to have a nurse. So it's like triggering for her to hear the word operation or anything like that, which I can understand. But she says that she finds it to be like a contradiction. She has an organic farm. She eats organic. So doing Botox doesn't fit in with her lifestyle. She says that some of my friends do yoga, eat organic, avoid alcohol, but they do Botox. I say, how can you live with that? It's a total contradiction. That's her opinion. And we all have our own opinions. We did the whole shaming on plastic surgery. I say, again, if you want to do Botox, fillers, what have you, you do it because it's your choice. This was an interesting perspective from someone that chose not to. And she's looking at her life like, this is the life that I lead. I'm around all the animals. I have a farm. I'm taking care of this. I eat organic. I grow organic. But would that really make sense for my life for me to do that? And that was her choice. That's her choice in how she's living. She said that her beauty routine is minimal. Every day I use cream, a lipstick, and perfume. She even wears a slick of lipstick on the farm. So she says that a red lip is her wardrobe and she wears it on the farm. And I was like, yes, that's music to my ears. She wears a red lip on the farm. So that's what I was always saying, ladies. Like, even if you're vacuuming or what have you, the power of lipstick, the power of a color that you wear, whether anyone sees it or not, you do. And it changes your vibe. It changes how you show up. It changes how you vacuum or how you do something on the farm. It's just amazing. It's just a little thing to take care of yourself and to feel better. So I really loved that she wears lipstick on the farm. She's never done any plastic surgery, but she does confess that her neck does bother her. She says, I have to confess my neck is the thing that makes me sometimes think I should have plastic surgery. The neck is always a little bit upsetting, but I live with it. I prefer a little scarf to an operation. So she does believe that the beauty industry's ageism issue has gotten much better in recent years, thanks to a large part to the uptick in women leaders in cosmetic companies. She says that, you know, this is how she's living her life. If you follow her on Instagram, you'll see her on her farm and you'll see her doing her thing. She's very interesting when it comes to what she's showing. And I think that, you know, I would love to have a farm. I would love to be around animals. I would love, definitely in the vision of my life down the road, whether I have a little Frenchie sanctuary with Frenchie dogs, or I have something else, there'll be something like that. But this is a woman that, you know, was very resilient. She didn't allow something that was so big in her life of having this contract, this very lucrative lifestyle of a cosmetic contract and being the face of Lancome and then getting fired and being like, you know what, you're too old. Which means, well, I'm not attractive anymore. I might as well just throw in the towel. Here's the white flag, like I wave it. She didn't do that. She was like, what else is interesting to me? So this is how we can apply this in our life. We might be doing something, we might have a career, and then all of a sudden we get fired or we lose our job or what have you. What are we gonna do with that? What are your other interests? You've always got to be thinking. And it doesn't matter what decade you're in. You always got to be thinking, like, what would be interesting to me? What would I do? How would I pivot? So she pivoted. You know, she decided that she bought a farm. I mean, she's done really incredible work in producing these little short films and things that she really enjoys. She probably would have never done that if Lancome kept her on. So these are the things that happen. And we have to figure out, what are we going to do with our lives if this does happen? How would I pivot? What's going to make me happy? How would I evolve myself into something new? So I just look at her as just very much of an inspiration to really look at, you know what? It's okay if you don't want to do Botox or fillers and everybody else is, you know, it's okay. Again, if you want to do that, it's okay also. This is just one example of a woman in her 70s that's chosen not to. I want to feature women that choose opposite of what everyone else is doing so that we all have options. It's not one way and that's it. So she has decided these are her reasons, and I wanted to really kind of give this information to you because it's exciting. It's exciting that someone has had this dramatic story and she turned it around, and guess what? And she's now with Lancome again. You never know what will happen. So I hope this inspires you. I hope that you kind of look into her story, get some inspiration, really just rock whatever stage you're in, and don't look at if something happened to you and you think it's the worst thing ever when it comes to your career, what have you. Look at this story. You know, she for 20 years created something that she really wanted to do. She's thriving in it. And at the same time, they came back and asked her to be back in with the Lancome family. It's amazing. It's an amazing story, ladies. I hope you have an incredible week. And until my next video, I'll see you later.